For 6 months I built a client dashboard that saved our company a fortune. My coworker offered to present it while I was on leave just to keep momentum. When I came back, he had renamed every file, scrubbed my name, and told leadership it was his idea. He even got a bonus for it. I stayed calm. I still had every original file, every timestamp, and months of emails where I explained the design to him. At the next all hands, he proudly demoed the tool. When he finished, I asked one simple question about a feature only the real builder would know. He froze. I quietly shared the version history with our director afterward. He was moved off the project by Friday. I got the recognition and a better title. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting someone dig their own hole. I rent a spot in a tiny lot, and my neighbor decided it was his. Every single day his truck sat in my space while I circled the block. I left polite notes. He laughed. I asked the landlord. Nothing changed. So I read my lease very carefully, confirmed the spot was legally mine, and learned my city allows towing from private assigned spaces. I documented 2 weeks of violations with photos and timestamps. Then I had his truck towed, exactly by the book. He pounded on my door screaming that I was the jerk. I simply showed him the lease, the photos, and the towing company number. It cost him $400 to get his truck back. He never parked in my spot again. Turns out being right on paper beats being loud every single time. My roommate had a rule. Your food is your food. She followed it religiously for herself. My groceries kept vanishing, especially my expensive protein bars and cold brew. She denied everything, even with crumbs on her shirt. So I bought a cheap mini fridge with a lock for my room and stopped sharing anything. Then I made a special batch of brownies, clearly labeled with my name, and left them in the shared fridge. They were sugar-free and packed with a very generous amount of fiber. Within a day, half of them were gone. She spent the next morning in agony, complaining about a mystery stomach bug. I gently reminded her that my food is my food. She has never touched my groceries since. My protein bars finally get to live a full life. I booked a non-refundable trip 6 months out and got it approved in writing. 2 days before I left, my boss demanded I cancel because a client call needed a warm body. I reminded him it was approved. He said loyalty matters more than plans. I forwarded his approval email, my flight confirmation, and our company policy on approved leave to human resources, politely asking for guidance. They sided with me instantly. My boss was furious that I went over his head, but I went on my trip, phone off, no guilt. While I was gone, the client call happened fine without me, which quietly proved I was never essential to it. When I came back, my boss avoided eye contact for a week. I learned something valuable. A written approval is a shield, and I will always use mine. A close friend borrowed $2,000 for an emergency and swore he would repay me in a month. A year passed. Every time I asked, he had a new excuse, all while posting photos of concerts and new sneakers. I stopped asking and started keeping receipts of every reminder. Then he asked me in front of our whole friend group to cover his share of a big group trip. I smiled and said I would happily deduct it from the $2,000 he still owed me, and asked when he wanted to settle the rest. The table went silent. He turned bright red. Everyone suddenly understood why. I had been quiet all year. He paid me back within a week, embarrassed but complete. I got my money and my dignity, and the group finally saw who he really was. When I moved out, I left the apartment spotless and took timestamp photos of every room. 3 weeks later, my landlord kept my entire deposit, claiming damage I never caused. He assumed I would not fight it. He assumed wrong. I sent a calm letter with my move-in photos, my move-out photos side by side, and a copy of the local law on deposit returns, including the penalty for withholding in bad faith. I gave him 10 days. On day 9, my full deposit landed in my account, plus a little extra to avoid the penalty. He never admitted he was wrong, but the money spoke clearly enough. The lesson I carry now everywhere I live: photograph everything, know your rights, and stay polite but immovable. Paperwork is boring right up until the moment it saves you. In my final semester, one teammate did absolutely nothing while 3 of us carried a huge project. He skipped meetings, ignored messages, and asked us to add his name at the end. We agreed on one condition he never saw coming. Our professor allowed anonymous peer contribution reports, so all 3 of us honestly documented who did what, with dated commit logs and shared document histories to back it up. When grades came out, we got top marks. He got a fraction of it, because grades were weighted by contribution. He was stunned and accused us of betrayal. We just pointed to the logs. He learned that coasting only works when nobody keeps records. We kept excellent records. Honestly, watching him realize the paper trail existed was more satisfying than the grade itself.